Empaths are known for their kindness, patience, and deep compassion. They feel the emotions of others as if they were their own. But even an empath has limits. When a narcissist pushes too far, something changes. Anger awakens a side of the empath that is rarely seen. And when that happens, the empath's response can feel shockingly cruel, not because they seek revenge, but because they finally show strength in ways the narcissist never expected. The first cruel way is silence. Empaths, when angry, refuse to argue or explain. They stop giving energy to the narcissist's endless drama. For a narcissist who survives on attention, this silence feels like suffocation. It's as if the empath pulled the plug on their oxygen. What seems like quiet is actually the loudest statement of all. You no longer have access to me. To the narcissist, this silence is torture, harsher than any words. The second cruel way is truth without apology. Normally, empaths soften their words to avoid hurting feelings. But when angry, they drop the filters. They call lies what they are, they name manipulation, and they speak with clarity. The narcissist, who relies on confusion, feels exposed. Every word feels like a blow because it cuts through illusion. The cruelty lies in honesty, sharp, undeniable truth that pierces the false image they tried so hard to protect. The third cruel way is boundaries that cannot be broken. Empaths, once forgiving and flexible, suddenly draw lines in stone. No more second chances, no more bending. The narcissist pushes, but the empath doesn't move. These boundaries feel cruel because they end the cycle of manipulation. What was once a revolving door slams shut. To the narcissist, it feels like betrayal. To the empath, it's liberation, the moment they finally choose themselves over endless sacrifice. The fourth cruel way is indifference. Narcissists crave emotional reaction, whether love, fear, or anger. But an angry empath provides nothing. They no longer cry, no longer plead, no longer fight. They simply don't care. This emotional emptiness feels unbearable to the narcissist. Their power depends on reaction, and without it, they collapse. The empath's cruelty lies not in hatred, but in detachment. By feeling nothing, they strip the narcissist of everything. The fifth cruel way is exposure. For years, empaths often protect the narcissist's reputation, covering lies and hiding abuse. But when angry, they stop protecting. They begin to share their truth, calmly and openly. To the narcissist, this feels like betrayal. Their carefully crafted mask slips and others see the cracks. The cruelty lies in transparency. The empath doesn't smear or exaggerate, they simply reveal. And the truth, spoken aloud, burns hotter than any revenge. The sixth cruel way is refusing to rescue. Empaths are natural fixers, but when angry, they step back. They let the narcissist face the consequences of their own actions. No more smoothing conflicts, no more cleaning messes, no more emotional bandages. To the narcissist, this feels cruel, because they relied on endless rescue. The empath's cruelty is in neutrality, watching the narcissist struggle without lifting a hand. It's not spite, it's justice finally served. The seventh cruel way is thriving without them. Empaths turn their pain into growth. They heal, they succeed, they glow with strength. To the narcissist, this feels unbearable. They expected the empath to remain broken. Instead, they see them rise higher than ever. Every smile, every victory feels like cruelty. The empath doesn't seek revenge, but their success becomes proof that the narcissist failed. The cruelty lies in thriving openly, shining in freedom. The eighth cruel way is refusing reconciliation. Narcissists count on cycles, fights followed by forgiveness. But when angry, the empath ends it. No more chances, no more returns. Their no becomes final. To the narcissist, this feels heartless. They expected forgiveness forever. The empath's cruelty lies in finality, choosing peace over endless repetition. For the narcissist, the door slamming shut is devastating. For the empath, it's salvation, and that strength cuts the deepest. The ninth cruel way is exposing manipulation in real time. The empath, once confused, now names tactics out loud. That's gaslighting. That's projection. The narcissist, used to twisting reality, suddenly loses control. This exposure feels cruel because it robs them of their greatest weapon, deception. The empath's cruelty is clarity. By calling out the game as it happens, they destroy the illusion instantly. And for the narcissist, there is nothing more humiliating than being seen. The 10th cruel way is complete freedom. When the empath decides they're done, they don't look back. They walk away with dignity, no longer tethered by guilt or hope. To the narcissist, this feels like erasure. They expected to haunt the empath forever. Instead, they are forgotten. The cruelty lies in absence. No mention, no regret, no return. For someone who survives on significance, being erased is the cruelest punishment of all. Each of these 10 ways may not look cruel to outsiders. They look like strength, healing, and clarity. But to the narcissist, they are unbearable. What feels like peace to the empath feels like punishment to the narcissist. And that's the irony. The empath doesn't set out to destroy. They simply protect themselves. Yet in doing so, they deliver consequences harsher than any revenge. The empath's anger transforms into power, and power becomes cruelty to the one who thrived on control. Silence, the empath's first weapon, grows heavier with time. At first, the narcissist believes it's temporary. They wait for the empath to return, to explain, to react. But when silence stretches into days, weeks, or months, it becomes unbearable. To the narcissist, silence feels like abandonment. To the empath, it's a shield. Their anger fuels the quiet, and that quiet is deafening. The cruelty lies not in words unspoken, but in the freedom found within them. Truth without apology stings most because narcissists thrive on lies. When the empath finally speaks honestly, they strip away the smoke and mirrors. This is manipulation. This is abuse. The narcissist feels cornered, unable to twist the narrative. The cruelty lies in directness, in refusing to soften the blow. For the empath, anger has burned away the fear of conflict. What remains is clarity, and clarity cuts deeper than rage ever could. Boundaries, once flexible, become walls. The empath who once said yes now says no, without hesitation. They no longer entertain half-truths, midnight apologies, or empty promises. The narcissist bangs against these walls, but they don't budge. This sudden firmness feels cruel because it's unfamiliar. The empath's anger has crystallized into resolve. What looks like coldness is actually protection, but to the narcissist, it's a punishment they never thought they'd face. Indifference is perhaps the cruelest cut of all. Narcissists crave reaction, whether positive or negative. But the empath, fueled by anger and healing, simply doesn't care anymore. Their face doesn't change at insults. Their heart doesn't race at accusations. They move on unaffected. This lack of reaction is torture for the narcissist. To the empath, indifference is peace. To the narcissist, it's cruelty disguised as serenity, because it leaves them powerless and forgotten. Exposure of truth shakes the narcissist's world. For years, empaths often protect reputations. But once angry, they stop. They share experiences, reveal patterns, and name the behavior. They don't exaggerate, they illuminate. To the narcissist, this feels like public execution. The mask slips, and the world sees behind it. The empath's cruelty lies in transparency. The anger fuels courage, and courage shines like sunlight. For a narcissist, exposure is unbearable and unforgettable. Refusing to rescue is another harsh cruelty. The narcissist, accustomed to the empath fixing every mess, suddenly faces reality alone. When bills pile up, when friends leave, when their charm fails, no one comes to clean up. The empath has stepped back, arms folded, watching without interference. To outsiders, it looks like detachment. To the narcissist, it's heartless. But to the empath, it's justice. Anger has taught them the hardest lesson: to let the narcissist drown in their own storm. Thriving without them is the empath's sweetest revenge. They pursue passions, rebuild friendships, and rediscover joy. The narcissist, watching from afar, sees smiles, laughter, and milestones they're not part of. Each photo, each achievement, feels like cruelty. They thought the empath would remain broken, but instead, they shine brighter. The empath doesn't gloat. They live. And that life, blooming after destruction, is sharper than any words of retaliation. Refusing reconciliation is devastating. Narcissists count on cycles, hurt, apologize, repeat. But an angry empath ends the loop. No more chances, no more returns. This final refusal feels cruel because it removes hope. The narcissist bangs at the door, but it stays closed. The empath has chosen peace, and peace leaves no space for chaos. To the narcissist, this feels like betrayal. To the empath, it's survival. Cruelty lies in ending what should have ended long ago. Exposing manipulation in real time terrifies the narcissist. Gaslighting used to confuse, projection used to work. But the angry empath interrupts with precision. That's a lie, that's projection. Suddenly the narcissist is disarmed. Their tricks collapse before they even begin. This feels cruel because it robs them of control. The empath's anger has sharpened awareness into a weapon. The cruelty is not exaggeration, it's recognition. And recognition destroys the game entirely. Complete freedom is the empath's final cruelty. They no longer dream of reconciliation, no longer hope for change. They've moved on. New love, new joy, new peace, all without the narcissist. To the narcissist, this feels like death of significance. They expected to haunt the empath forever. Instead, they are erased. The cruelty lies in forgetting. The empath's freedom is not aimed at revenge, but it wounds deeply. Because nothing hurts a narcissist more than irrelevance. The cruelty of silence grows louder when combined with calm living. The empath doesn't send angry texts or bitter messages. They simply vanish into peace. This quietness leaves the narcissist frantic because they can't provoke reaction. Their voice echoes unanswered. What seems like passivity is power. The empath's anger fuels silence, but that silence becomes healing. For the narcissist, it's a slow torture. The realization that their voice no longer matters. Truth without apology strips the narcissist's illusions. They can no longer twist stories. Every attempt to deny is met with, "That's not true." Each contradiction is pointed out calmly. This precision feels cruel because it robs them of their greatest tool, confusion. The empath's cruelty lies in directness, delivered without fear. Anger transforms their voice into a blade, and each word of truth slices away the lies, leaving only reality behind. Boundaries once broken easily now stand like steel. The empath says no, without hesitation, and the word echoes like a hammer. The narcissist, used to bending them, finds the door locked. Their frustration grows, but the empath doesn't yield. The cruelty lies in firmness. To the empath, anger has become strength. To the narcissist, it feels like betrayal. But it's not betrayal, it's survival. Boundaries are the empath's fortress, and anger built the walls high. Indifference becomes sharper over time. The empath doesn't celebrate or mourn the narcissist. They feel nothing. This nothingness is unbearable for someone who thrived on reaction. The cruelty lies in detachment. For the empath, it's healing. For the narcissist, it's punishment. Every insult bounces off, every attempt to provoke fails. The narcissist is left screaming into emptiness, while the empath walks away quietly. That quietness, born of anger, feels like the loudest cruelty. Exposure spreads like wildfire. The empath tells the truth, not in anger, but in clarity. Friends, family, and communities see the mask slip. The narcissist, once admired, feels naked in the light. The cruelty lies not in exaggeration, but in honesty. The empath, once silenced, now speaks without fear. For the narcissist, this exposure feels brutal. But for the empath, it's freedom. Anger has given them courage, and courage shines brighter than lies. Refusing to rescue feels harshest during the narcissist's downfall. When consequences arrive, the empath stays silent. No comforting words, no helpful hands. The narcissist, drowning, looks around and finds no savior. To them, this feels crueler than any insult. But to the empath, it's necessary. Anger has taught them that rescue enables abuse. Their cruelty is in stepping back, watching reality play out. For the narcissist, it's punishment. For the empath, it's release. Thriving glitters like cruelty in the narcissist's eyes. Each smile, each success feels like defiance. They scroll through photos, hear stories, and see proof the empath is better without them. The cruelty lies in joy. The empath doesn't need revenge. Their happiness is enough. To the narcissist, thriving feels like betrayal. But to the empath, it's rebirth. Anger fueled the transformation, and the glow of healing becomes a light too bright for the narcissist to bear. Refusing reconciliation stings hardest when the narcissist is desperate. They beg, plead, promise to change. But the empath says no, calmly and firmly. The cruelty lies in finality. The narcissist's favorite cycle is broken. The empath's anger has closed the door and it will not reopen. To the narcissist, it feels like cruelty. To the empath, it's freedom. The cruelty isn't revenge, it's clarity, the choice to never again return to chains. Exposing manipulation in real time is terrifying for the narcissist. Their tactics crumble under the empath's sharp gaze. Each trick is named instantly, dismantled before it begins. The cruelty lies in awareness. For the empath, anger sharpened instincts into armor. For the narcissist, it feels like betrayal. The games no longer work. Each exposure is like a spotlight shining on darkness, and in that light, the narcissist feels powerless, humiliated, and defeated. Complete freedom is the empath's loudest cruelty. They laugh without hesitation, dream without limits, and love without fear. The narcissist watches from afar, powerless to interrupt. The cruelty lies in forgetting. For the empath, anger has birthed new life. For the narcissist, that life feels like punishment. Every sign of joy is a reminder that their control has ended. And that ending, silent but absolute, is the harshest cruelty of all. The empath's silence grows sharper with consistency. No matter how many messages, calls, or attempts are made, they don't answer. Each unanswered attempt cuts deeper than words ever could. To the narcissist, this feels like rejection. To the empath, it's protection. Their cruelty lies in absence, the refusal to participate. Silence becomes a wall, and the narcissist, pounding against it, realizes too late that the cruelty lies not in hatred, but in peace. Truth without apology dismantles illusions. The empath doesn't sugarcoat or soften, they simply say it. Lies are called lies, abuse called abuse. Each word slices through denial. For the narcissist, this feels crueler than insults. Anger gave the empath courage to speak plainly. The cruelty lies in honesty, stripped of fear. No theatrics, no drama, just facts. And those facts, spoken calmly, destroy the narcissist's carefully crafted image like glass shattering in silence. Boundaries cut deepest when enforced. The empath doesn't just speak them, they live them. No visits, no exceptions, no just this once. The narcissist tests them and loses every time. This firmness feels cruel because it's unshakable. To the empath, it's safety. To the narcissist, it's punishment. The cruelty lies in resolve. What was once soft is now steel. And each failed attempt to break through reminds the narcissist that the empath is untouchable. Indifference stings every time the narcissist tries to provoke. They throw insults, spread rumors, or flaunt new relationships. But the empath doesn't flinch, they keep living, keep smiling. This lack of reaction is agony. To the narcissist, it feels like betrayal, like cruelty beyond measure. To the empath, it's healing. Anger has turned to detachment, and detachment has turned to peace. The cruelty isn't in action, it's in the refusal to engage at all. Exposure burns brightest in public. When the empath shares their story openly, the narcissist feels stripped bare. Their reputation cracks. People see through charm and lies. To the narcissist, this feels like betrayal. But the empath knows it's justice. The cruelty lies in light. Anger has given them courage to speak without fear. And the truth, once silenced, now roars louder than any smear campaign. For the narcissist, exposure is the sharpest cruelty. Refusing to rescue leaves the narcissist facing storms alone. They stumble, panic, and beg, but the empath doesn't move. No comfort, no safety net, no rescue. The cruelty lies in absence. To the narcissist, it feels heartless, but to the empath, it's healing. Anger has broken the cycle of savior and victim. The empath finally lets the narcissist feel the consequences of their own actions. That weight is heavy, and the cruelty is letting it fall. Thriving without them cuts every time the narcissist looks. Each laugh, each success, each step forward feels like betrayal. They expected devastation. Instead, they see strength. The cruelty lies in survival. The empath doesn't need revenge. Their life is proof enough. To the narcissist, it's agony to watch someone they tried to break flourish. To the empath, it's liberation. Anger fueled transformation, and transformation became the quietest, sharpest form of cruelty. Refusing reconciliation echoes like a locked door. The narcissist knocks, pleads, and promises. The empath doesn't answer. Their silence is final. To the narcissist, it feels like cruelty, like being erased. To the empath, it's self-respect. The cruelty lies in finality. No matter how much they beg, the answer is no. Anger gave the empath strength to close the chapter permanently. And for the narcissist, finality is the most unbearable punishment. Exposing manipulation in real time feels like betrayal. Each tactic is spotted instantly, called out and dismantled. The narcissist used to control feels powerless. To them, this feels cruel. To the empath, it's clarity. Anger sharpened instincts, and instincts became weapons. The cruelty lies in recognition. For once, the empath cannot be deceived, and for the narcissist, nothing feels harsher than tricks that no longer work. Complete freedom shines brightest when the empath no longer looks back. They stop checking messages, stop wondering, stop caring. The narcissist, watching, feels erased. To them, this is cruelty. To the empath, it's survival. The cruelty lies in indifference, in moving on completely. What feels like betrayal to the narcissist is healing for the empath. Anger has turned to strength, and strength has become freedom. That freedom is the harshest cruelty of all. The cruelty of silence continues even as time passes. Years may go by, and still the empath does not return. The narcissist waits, hopes, and fantasizes. But silence stretches endlessly. This ongoing absence is agony. To the empath, it's peace. To the narcissist, it's cruelty. Their voice echoes unanswered forever. The cruelty lies not in hatred, but in permanence. The permanent refusal to return to chains that once suffocated the empath's soul. Truth without apology grows stronger with time. The empath doesn't hide behind politeness. They speak clearly whenever necessary. The narcissist can no longer deny reality. Each truth spoken feels like cruelty, because it dismantles their illusions. To the empath, it's healing. To the narcissist, it's destruction. The cruelty lies in honesty, calm, and firm, and nothing cuts deeper than truth delivered without fear, especially to someone who built their life on lies. Boundaries sting every time they're tested. The narcissist pushes, expecting weakness, but the empath stands firm. No becomes unshakable. Each failed attempt is a reminder of lost control. To the narcissist, this feels cruel. To the empath, it's protection. Anger gave them strength, and strength built walls. The cruelty lies in refusal, in saying no every time. To the narcissist, each no feels like betrayal. To the empath, each no is survival. Indifference pierces like a knife. The narcissist flaunts new partners, spreads rumors, or tries to provoke. The empath shrugs. They don't flinch, don't react, don't care. To the narcissist, this feels like the cruelest act of all. Their power depended on reaction, and now it's gone. To the empath, it's freedom. The cruelty lies in calm detachment. And that detachment is the deepest wound for someone who thrived on chaos and attention. Exposure cuts deepest when shared openly. The empath tells their story, unafraid of judgment. The narcissist feels stripped bare, their lies crumbling. To them, this is cruelty. To the empath, it's justice. Anger gave them courage to reveal what was hidden. The cruelty lies in light. For the narcissist, the light feels like punishment. For the empath, it feels like freedom. Truth shines brighter than lies, and that light becomes their ultimate power. Refusing to rescue breaks the cycle once and for all. The narcissist falls expecting the empath to catch them, but no one comes. The cruelty lies in refusal. To the narcissist, it feels like abandonment. To the empath, it's healing. Anger gave them strength to step back, and stepping back means the narcissist finally experiences the consequences of their own chaos. That experience feels like cruelty, but it's the justice the empath always deserved. Thriving without them is the empath's ultimate revenge. Each step forward, each joy, each success cuts like a blade. To the narcissist, it feels cruel. To the empath, it feels natural. Anger became growth, and growth became healing. The cruelty lies in joy. Nothing hurts a narcissist more than watching someone they tried to break rise stronger. That strength, that glow, is proof the empath won, and winning becomes the sharpest cruelty of all. In the end, the cruelty of an empath isn't hatred, it's transformation. Their anger fuels silence, truth, boundaries, indifference, exposure, refusal, thriving, and freedom. To outsiders, it looks like strength. To the narcissist, it feels like betrayal. But the empath's cruelty is simply clarity. They rise above manipulation, leaving the narcissist powerless. What feels like punishment is really healing, and that healing is the empath's greatest victory, the cruelty of becoming free.